ornamental. All right, I guess we're going to
We
start
just moved a bunch of stuff out to the hoop house yesterday, our leeks and onions, so you can see. First, Claire?
Yeah.
Okay.
These are June berries, which did have fruit for the first time last year.
This is what the chickens do.
And those
they get
are
a little wilder every day.
gooseberries up
and,
there.
So very soon they're going to be kicked out, and they're going to go on pasture. That's right. It may not. It may not. They may be out before the grass is up. They might be out on the pasture before the grass is up.
We do the same thing. But it's about maybe April 10th or so they go.
Yeah.
They go in. Right now they're working underneath our apple trees.
And they do work all day long.
Oh my God.
Oh my gosh, it's so nice now.
Makes for good eggs.
Yeah. This is where we bring our seedlings out to. We put them in the pathways. We have things planted in those beds, and then we put the seedlings in the pathways and cover them at night.
Well, we're slowly getting them
nice.
back down, like 2 or 3 a day.
It's all solar.
What are these here?
These are our red
This
raspberries,
field
which
is-
we're going to come back to in a minute.
I think this
These are,
Yeah.
this went on
I'm
Wednesday,
going to start out with the strawberries
and
over
then
here.
Friday we did those. This is going to be like our vegetable fields this year, and so in some places to kill the sod, like are going to be new growing areas.
Okay.
And then other places just to kill the grass and prevent weeds from coming up in the spring.
When do we start
early
planting now?
April. I think peas sometime early.
Yeah, before April 15th, we try to get some stuff in. We've had big struggles with the wind this year. It's a wind 10, farm staff 1 right now. But so these are this is our older strawberry beds. You can see we did this actually. Yeah, walk on this part. And we did this actually when the snow was down. Actually, the day, Jack, that you and I were on the phone about the natural farmer, Claire and Anthony were running along, trying to figure out where to put the leaves. That was that day.
That's right. We couldn't see the beds.
So anyway, you'll see under here that the strawberries are starting to come back. And like here's one right here coming up. But we'll leave them covered up a little while longer because it was again 20 degrees last night. But I think our biggest challenge with the strawberries is the incredible weed situation if you have very many strawberries, because the grass comes in and thistles and dandelions and everything under the sun. So
I wonder if having some, like if we rake away some leaves, but if we don't get them all, if having a little bit of leaves left in the beds will help.
Yeah.
Or if that, I don't know if that'll make it
yeah,
worse.
hopefully.
Oh, have you been raking all the leaves off?
No,
I
don't
like
think we
usually
will.
in the spring we'll pull the mulch back.
A little bit, but we don't have
But
so
we-
much mulch that we even have to, maybe not even have to take much of it off.
Yeah, we might be able to leave some of that in.
So, but it's nice. It's, I think another issue, and we don't like to use black plastic and, that, whatever that stuff's called,
Landscape fabric?
landscape fabric. Yeah.
We
that
bought
people,
the Biotella once, but we never
a lot of
used
people
it. We
put
didn't try
down.
it.
So we try to use natural things for the pathways. But these, I can't say enough for wood chips, because they, especially if they're broken down, and you'll see over there, to see that pile over there is where we were digging the other day, and it was just, the steam was coming out like crazy from it. They're just so good for the soil, and they bring a lot of carbon into this situation. And if you have healthy nitrogen fixation going on, they don't overwhelm the system. But
At the bottom of that wood chip pile is turning into black gold.
yeah,
I know.
No
I want
kidding.
to plant something.
And that's nice. That looks really good.
I always say these piles of. We did this in the snow too. Actually, we put down all this rock dust while the snow was on there. It looks like kind of green cow shit, but it's basalt rock, and I encourage anybody who wants to. It's not that expensive. I say we got 22 tons for $1,000, I guess, and we did the whole farm with it. So But
Yeah,
that
we saw-
already we can see where we've put it in the hoop houses or where it's warmed already. It's just the soil's like silk underneath it. It just really does the trick. So
So these are our 3 older beds, and when we walk past, we can stop and look at the 2 beds we planted in the fall. We took runners, baby plants from here, from these beds, and started 2 new beds just over there.
Is that the first time you've done it that way?
I can't remember if we bought plants for these 2 beds or if we started our own.
we did for these 2, but we transplanted.
Did
into
we
this
buy
one.
them for these 2?
I
Or
think
did we
so.
move them from the garden?
I think we bought these 2 and then we transplanted into this one.
Yeah.
So
Oh, so how did that do then?
it does quite well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fine.
It's you just, I don't know, it's hard to say spring or fall what's best, but we had that time in the fall and they seem to have taken pretty well. We'll know more as we get into the
Yeah. So we prepped the bed with 3 rows and did our normal like transplant drench, and then just planted 3 rows, maybe like a foot apart or so.
all right.
We had people over here
Look like
that
you're
would
learning something.
get plants, and then we would just put them in filled buckets with plants, and then they would run them over to the people planting, and we'd just dump them out and plant them into the rows.
We had show tunes going here and other things. I don't know what you guys are doing. We were doing show tunes over here. You were in that crew.
Yeah.
I don't know what you guys were singing, but it was a great afternoon, great morning. So, any big questions on strawberries? I think you can see them as they get too thick. You want to kind of just, sometimes I just come through and rip out some of the older plants because they're always putting on new ones.
So you leave the new ones.
Well, we don't take all of them. I don't take all of them out, but I just, sometimes it gets a little thick. And after this season, I know a lot of the traditional discussion will be to mow them down and do all sorts of things, but we just kind of,
Or just maybe even have them for a season. I think some people, like, they'll plant new beds in the spring, but those don't produce that year. Those will be the next year's berries. But they maybe only have them for that one main season.
and then till them under and plant new
and then
ones,
every year they start new beds.
yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of that's because of weeds, though. I think weeds are
Yeah.
a huge issue with strawberries.
Well, and
I mean, it's
people that
hard. We
maybe-
weed as we pick, but then it's so busy in July and August, and then by September it's all weeds again.
Yeah,
So it's a lot of work in the fall.
but we're still trying to figure that one out. But any other strawberry questions or observations? All right, well, let's move on to the red raspberries.
strawberries have their own separate mineral or own separate fertility program.
I run them as the other berries.
Oh, you do?
Yeah. I mean, in large part because we have, like 85 crops here. So at some point you gotta,
I
like,
know.
one size fits all it.
Yeah. Do you see the same weeds in all the berries? Or-
Oh, well, no, because the strawberries are in the ground and it's small and short. and-
there's
mine would
berries
over
coming
here,
back
but- What's that, Claire? You see some strawberries?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think we'll have berries here. So yeah, these are. Can't see them.
We have
These
55
these are the
acres
berries that
altogether.
were just planted in the
We
fall.
have about 14 that are open, that side of the street and this side of the street.
These 2 beds, yeah, under the hay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this we'll probably have to pull more of this
Sheldon
out.
Farm?
It
Sheldon
might be
Road?
that we can
Arthur-
leave
Arthur
a lot of the
Sheldon? You know
leaf
that name?
material in those beds,
There's a young Arthur
which will
Sheldon
be
who's
interesting.
probably,
Yeah, this will just pull the hay over to the side.
but the old man was still alive when we bought the place. He didn't own it at that point, but
Older, longer.
he used to drive by every day and say, "Oh,
Yeah,
so
we'll pull
happy
this
that
off
you're
maybe in a couple
farming
weeks. I don't know.
No, that
Yeah.
house down there,
Yeah,
the big house at the, that was, the farm went all the way down the road. Yeah.
June. Yeah,
We good, Claire?
yeah.
So here we have, we covered our parsley because we love our parsley so much. Just looking at it this morning, but I think that we're gonna have it's gonna come back here a little bit. So this is great. It's the only thing
I wonder if we could leave some at the end of the bed and save seed from it, maybe.
Yeah, I think we could. So anyway, that's parsley's a nice biennial that'll come back, and Oh, yeah, we should show him what we did with the kale in the yellow house there too, because that's starting to come back. You want to just stop really quick? Well, you don't mind talking about vegetables too, right? Pretty exciting in the spring.
So last spring, we planted kale into this bed last spring, and we ended up using kale in our early CSA shares. Actually, but we might have picked kale from here all season long because we just left it.
Go ahead and walk in a bit.
Oh yeah.
Go ahead.
So this
go
has
ahead,
been
Claire.
replanted, but we left a lot of these kale plants on the side of the bed to grow back, to start to grow this year, and then we'll save seed from this.
So just stand on the hay wherever you are. Yeah. Can you see where they're greening up on the tops of the plants? Some of those kales.
Yeah, some chard too we're going to try to save seed from. We had chard in here, and we saved some of the chard plants
I'll show you
to
that.
grow
one.
again
I'll show
this
you one over
spring,
here.
and hopefully
They're,
they'll flower and we can save seed.
I think this is a. Is this a chard? No, let me see. Here it is. They're monster. They're like trees, but this is a chard plant, and it'll come back. And if I were to dig this up, you would see that it would be really bright colored, really very, very healthy plant. This is another one right here. The chard that was in here that was I don't know, it was like this tall by the time we were done. So that's one of our goals, is to save as much seed as we can, and of our own high quality seed. So, like I said, we try to do a little bit of everything here. Try to do it well, but don't always accomplish that. That's irrigation that we aren't using yet, but yeah. We
Yeah,
will.
have to redo it? Like,
No,
no?
we haven't ever had to redo this one, I
Really?
don't think. Yeah.
And how old is it?
This is 2011,
2000.
this house, I think. We recovered it, but, so let's go do red raspberries for a minute. So, as I said, we brought back these berries from Illinois, from my mom's garden in 1984, and they transplanted in very nicely. Our one mistake, we moved this patch, I think it was in 2007, was that maybe 6, 7? And the mistake was that we put these trellises too close together, because these guys get really crazy and it's just like a forest in here. So you could, I would think if you were going to do it yourself, I wouldn't have them quite so close together.
Yeah, we
But
can
these-
look over there at those trellises that are
Yep.
spaced further apart,
You
and
can
it's
see-
much easier to work between the trellises.
This guys, I guess I'm going to have to get. You see these?
This is not, this is
These
not
dead
enough of a
canes
pathway.
will. You see how they're browner, and they'll just break right off. And you see all this cute little vine here? That's bindweed. This guy doesn't want to go. So anyway, we would come in here with. Do you want give everybody some pruners? And
Yeah, we can
people
come in and do
and
some of the pruning.
We'll just do this
So
one.
These
bed
reddish canes are
Ones we
these
wanna
grew
save.
last year, and these will be this year's fruiting canes. And these are the dead ones fruited last year. So then we just take all of those out. And are you just going to lay them down in the beds
I
or
think
in the
right
pathway?
here in the pathway, yeah.
I'm going to take them out close to the ground.
Yeah, cut them down close to the ground,
You can
or break them off. Does anyone
And
want?
mostly they'll break off, but you can do it with clippers.
Does anyone want clippers?
It's a nice way to be assured that you're getting the right one, is if it comes off really easily.
Ow.
No, these are summer bears, so these only. Yeah, they do. It's nice. and dead.
I guess it's like a perennial root or crown that sends up the shoots. The shoots don't fruit on the same shoots every year. It sends up new ones.
Yeah, it's just like grapes that way.
Yeah.
The second year, these ones that are here that are alive came up last year. Can I borrow your clippers once? I made a mistake here on this one. This one's not dead. It wasn't dead, but now I've killed it. Here we go. Yeah.
So when we have bindweed in here, which we just come in and rip up, like this was one that we didn't get, but we just pull the roots up or cut the roots. We don't try to untangle the bindweed from the whole plant because it'll pull off fruit. If it's just like a mat and it strangles the plant. So we try to just cut the bindweed down at the ground and then the plant dies back, but we don't unwrap it and try to take it out of the canes.
So we'll then come through again here, and as you can see, we are getting more and more raised pathways here because we've been mulching these really heavily every year too.
So you cut them down to the ground? Once you leave.
Break them off at the base, yeah, yeah, the old ones.
The old ones, and then the newer ones,
The bindweed.
let them grow.
These guys we let grow, yeah.
I mean, we just try to do
mom
that
used to
until
say,
it seems like
Cut them off at 5 feet,
it's under control. Like,
but I never have. I've always let them do their thing.
I mean,
so
we go
all
through
depends on how you
several
feel about it.
times because
They
you always
can
miss one.
Lean
It's like
over and, and you walk
sometimes
in there and
earlier in the
you know,
season, there's
a
these
forest.
thicker, kind of squarish roots, but then it seems like they get kind of small. There's still small, like skinnier ones that you miss. I guess, yeah. We just keep going through. Anytime we see living bindweed, we know to go check to look for the roots to pull up.
Sometimes we have people who pick and people who bindweed as we come out to pick.
Yeah, and then after we prune, we'll tuck everything back into their wires.
So you're just breaking off the ones that you are breaking off, and that's how you know if they're dead?
Like
Well, you
this
can
is
tell by the
last
color.
year's.
Too.
Yeah.
And they're brittle. They're very brittle. So like this one here is a.
And they're kind of, the bark is peeling. This is smoother.
This is a good way to practice looking for your grapes too, I think, is to take a look at these. You can see the difference in color and texture of the stalk. That's right.
You do this every year.
Every spring, yeah. Yep. I think every year on any cane
Yeah,
fruit.
blackberries are similar. They'll fruit on the second year wood or second year growth.
So I wondered, does anybody want to take any raspberries home with them? Yeah? Here.
Transplanted from last spring.
Uh-huh.
So they were last year's fruiting canes.
Uh-huh.
And then one variety grew its first year last year, was going to fruit this year.
Uh-huh.
The other variety really didn't. Do you think they'll come back this year and start new?
Oh, maybe. Yeah. Just wait and
They
see.
fruited last year.
Yeah.
I mean, those canes fruited that I transplanted. But
Right.
They didn't just send up new shoots.
Didn't send new ones in, I see. Yeah,
So I don't have anything this year.
I see.
So I'm hoping.
Here, get this shovel right in here, right back a little bit. Go straight down. Does anybody else want any berries?
Not the center at all.
We
see a big
don't. I
clump or-
think. I mean,
like
I
maybe
think you
the,
could prune to 5 or 6 per cluster.
Uh-huh.
Not
We
really.
really don't thin it out, but
And it
I'm
doesn't
sure
seem
the
to be a
people do.
problem.
No, it doesn't seem to be a
Blow the
problem.
dirt off so it's not too heavy.
I
You
mean,
can
we
get these
don't
too if you
have
want.
fungal disease or anything like that.
Send you
but-
home
That's a
some of
good
my
sign. Then,
Yeah.
bugle and my
it's
grass.
Then it's getting
But I
better.
think on things like blackberries and red raspberries, I mean, yeah, I'm sure people probably do thin to a certain number of
Does
canes
anybody
per
else want
cluster,
any
or
berries
per
to
foot.
take home?
Yeah, I mean, that
Nobody?
that was pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, and
You want
I
some,
think
Jane?
that the main thing is also to remember spacing between rows, because this is just really, really
Yeah.
hard to get through in the
I
summertime.
imagine by the middle of the
Those
summer.
trellises we put in just a few years ago,
Yeah.
and there's such a difference
Trying to leave the
when
grass
we're working
here.
there. And this, like,
There you go.
I guess it also depends on how you're gonna. We manage these pathways just with wood
My
chips
mom,
and
yeah.
mulch,
Uh-huh.
but over there where they're spaced further apart.
Yeah.
So you want to
We
make sure you
have
get
the
lots
trellises
of, yeah, always go
mulched very.
straight down
The
when you
plants
get
are
'em.
mulched really well, but
Is it-
we
Always
can
dig
mow
straight down so
between
you
the
don't
trellises.
cut into
So,
them.
Okay.
I mean, that's a
Oops, I
different
keep forgetting
kind of
this
management.
cord. I keep
So
thinking
you,
is
it's how, what's the
very-
spacing over there? This is about what?
2 feet or so?
Yeah, I think it's probably more like 6 feet between
Oh, okay.
between
So
rows, or 4 to 6. Yeah, they're right over there
Oh, God,
on the
okay.
other side of that
Yeah.
plastic.
Okay.
We'll look
Here
at
we go.
black raspberries over there.
So probably easier to manage that one
Yeah.
because it's just easier to get
I mean,
into.
just easier to get in, especially when picking. By the time we're picking, it's really overgrown in here. I mean, I guess we could. People also might prune these back, just the height. We don't really cut them down that
There
way.
we go. Here's one right here.
But I guess you could.
Does anybody besides
kind of
Jane and
train them a
Jonathan
little
want to
bit.
take some
Yeah.
of these home?
You know,
Anybody?
I guess if you cut that here,
Yeah.
it would tend to go.
I
that
think if
way.
you
Who said that?
trim these
You said
down,
that.
they might just
Anybody
branch a
else
little
say
bit
it?
more.
You want some, Ari?
I don't know if that gives
you
you
wanna
more
scout-
fruit. If
scout
you
around
have
and
them
find
branching
some
out, if
errant
you would get
ones?
more fruit. But
Maybe on the in by the
we
hoop
mostly,
house. There might be
just
coming out that
remove
side too.
anything dead and get
Yeah.
them back into these top wires.
Don't want to get my hand cut off, or else.
And then mulch a lot of wood chips.
It's impressive the volume.
But we get a lot of fruit here. In these 5 trellises, we're able to give raspberries to our CSA and for a couple weeks. I mean, plus Julie freezes berries too. So we get a lot of fruit from here.
I don't know. I'll come over this way again from that side
Yeah.
and just see if you can get under it now. Guess we're not broken up here yet. The grass isn't.
Oh, you're pulling out that, what is it, like Johnson grass? Or?
Oh, just trying to get some berries for people. And they happen
Do
to
we
be
have
growing in
another
the grass.
shovel over here?
We have volunteers.
Oh, Ari's got the other shovel. Okay.
Okay.
Look at the chickens digging holes in these.
I don't know, Jonathan, if we're going to get this one. I'm going to get it with its friend. Ah, you got to love perennials. They're so strong. They have such a strong will to live. I always say, you know, I don't mind fighting with grass because it's probably doing more carbon sequestration than any vegetable that I could ever raise is going to do. So, right? We do. Did you find any on the other side, Ari?
Yeah, I found a couple right here.
Okay. I don't know. That one's a little bit weak, but
There might be some, I don't know if you want to pull them if they're coming out in this pathway, Julie.
yeah, I don't really want them. They need to behave and stay in the right space.
Like over here. This one.
Yeah. Will somebody bring a shovel over here? Oh, good. Here's one right here. So if you want to come in between, like right in there first, Charters.
The chickens,
There you go.
I don't remember them making holes
Sounds
in our
like a good-
raspberries, but they've
good
definitely
strike.
been in here.
There we go. Perfect.
They're-
That's perfect.
There's all sorts of
See any more?
good bugs.
Mm-hmm.
Worms. This is almost like a double. Look at this. It's got 2 shoots off the main.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of light. Maybe there'll be more later. Okay, that might be it for today. I've given these to people over the years and had people say, oh yeah, we got a beautiful patch now. Claire, should we move on?
Sure. No,
No,
Monday,
not
we
yet.
can't do this yet.
We have to do all of our trees first. We have so many things
And
to
get
do
the
right
tarps
now.
down.
Yeah, tarps and. All right. So, did we get them all into bags? This bag and 2 bags? All right, guys, we're going to move on. Come on, Jack. That's it. Can't do any more.
Oh, let's bring
Why don't
the
you clear that?
pruners and the loppers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're going to go over and look at black raspberries next. Thank you. Jane, you want to, or just, can you just run those up and throw them in the barn, Jane, those empty ones? Just in that barn door there, that big door.
Are we looking at this trellis or over there?
I wanted to go over there because
Okay.
I saw one I wanted to work with. Let's go around the top. These are thornless blackberries, and it's a little harder for me to see the old canes versus the new canes, but they're in here. And we want to get these. You see, they almost like trees in here.
Yeah.
This is a very prolific plant.
What is this?
This is a thornless blackberry. Yeah, so they will give us good fruit by late August or so. And we'll come through and, trim them a little bit. Sometimes they get very, very long and out of control. But
yeah, I think we could also thin out, like maybe try to leave, I don't know, 6 or so of these thicker canes, and if thin out or take out some of the thin low light, like this one, some of these lower canes that are just kind of hanging down. I might take some of those out and leave all of these bigger ones and get them back in the trellis too.
So leave like the brown ones and take out
These, yeah, we definitely take out all these dead ones, these
Yeah.
canes from last year.
Yeah.
Yeah, look at that. They just
Yeah, that
pull
one just,
right out almost. Like something like that for sure.
But this is also a very fertile spot because the chickens will come down here. Not only is this a nice place for them to scratch, but as Jack pointed out, when the hawks come over, this is where they go,
Oh, really?
Yeah.
right here, because the hawks can't get at them. Yeah.
And you'll cut some of these back a little bit.
Yeah.
like,
keep
I
them
think
trained.
this we could cut back.
Try to keep it within the trellis so it
yeah.
doesn't burrow down and you have
Well, yeah, we'll get them back in the trellis and maybe cut these back a little bit, the side branches.
Let me show you the June berries and
Yeah.
the gooseberries over here.
see the fertility is wonderful.
We had these. We planted these June berries probably 1984 in here, and until we started with the fertility spraying, we didn't really start having berries until 2 years ago. But last year they were actually very good. June berries are almost like blueberries. We once were we were going up to Lake George, and we stopped at a rest stop on the New York Thruway, and there was a beautiful Juneberry bush there. That's what caused us to decide to buy one. But so. Yeah, these produced well last year. We have 2 gooseberries right here, those 2 bushes right there, and we'll just, again, I think just go in and clean up some of the dead fruit. But those are particularly nice for little kids because they can pick them. They're right really close to the ground, and they're fun. If you can get over the fact that they have these little sticks hanging out of either side of them, they're very tasty. And again, I think one of the benefits of doing a foliar spray is that the taste is going to be so much better. Gooseberries could easily be, people cast them aside as saying they're not tasty enough, but they get very sweet when you take good care of them. So, well, that's those guys. I wanted to show you some black raspberries. I have one that I wanted to show you how we, that has tip layered and how we process that. What do you think, girls? You want to help with the, just like, what do you guys have for us to eat now? Yeah.
Still not sure what a foliar is.
What is it?
What is a foliar?
A foliar?
Yeah.
Oh, it's just something it's done through the air. As a foliar application means applying
I
a
forgot we
mist
have our
on the
project,
leaves
our mulching project
of the plant.
set up.
There's drenching, which when you just you spread it on the ground with water.
Quince,
Or
flowering
foliar
quince.
application is up in the leaves.
It
with
has
that-
like
with that
really
mist blower that we
pretty
have.
It might be
deep
some
kind
the
of
same
pinky orange flowers in the spring.
Right. Thank you, Jane. Foliar is an adjective.
So these are 2 trellises of black raspberries, and Julie has this one she wants to work on, but here we're also going to cut out dead canes. Yeah, these are definitely harder on the hands than the red raspberries, but we'll take out last year's canes, and you can see the difference. Like this is kind of a purpley red, the new growth or the first year canes, and then these are kind of the peeling bark.
Here, I think this is the one I wanted to show you. Did this one attach? No, I didn't.
Oh,
No. There's one that attached. It might be in this next trellis.
This one?
that looks like a dead cane.
That one's a
No?
dead one, yeah. I think it might be up here in this trellis. Let's look. We haven't had excellent results with our black raspberries. I mean, I think this is a very particularly healthy trellis because you can see they're really long and beautiful
They're thick,
purple
very thick canes.
and thick. And somewhere in here, yesterday I found one that was attached at both ends. Anybody can see it. But you have to be careful because they're really hard on your hands.
Oh, no, it's not on both ends, sorry.
It's
It's nearly
yeah, they're working their way down.
bending down.
You see how they, this one's working its way down. It's a live cane.
Oh, wait a
And
minute,
if-
I think it goes out there. Is that rooted there?
Yep,
Oh, okay.
yep. This one's rooted right here. So
You
what
can cut it.
what we would do is kind of
That one
find the
splits
midpoint.
into 2 or 3.
Hmm?
That one splits in, this one cane right here splits into 3 or 4
Yeah.
roots.
Yeah, I see right there. There's another. You want to cut it? Or what-
Yeah, go ahead and cut it, and then we'll tie it up. Do you have that twine? Where's our
It's in the
pail?
bucket.
Right here.
Okay.
So that's not a good example of one to tie because it's behaving itself actually. But well, we won't tie that one. But hold on a second.
Do we want to
might-
dig those up and replant them?
No, because it's right in the middle of the bed. Sometimes they tip layer outside. But
Wait, what's behind?
Yeah, we
Here's,
just kinda
here's
wanna-
one right here that we could move. Oh, no,
okay.
that one didn't root yet.
Does it have the little 3 prongs? So see how this one has,
Yeah.
it's getting ready to root.
Right.
So what we could do right now probably would be just put it inside and cover it up and let it do its thing. It's a little bit frozen in here still, but if we did that, it'll probably root and we can come back and cut that and get yourself another plant.
Yeah, it looks like there isn't a live cane right
to
here,
migrate
so that
them
could
along
fill
the row.
in.
What's that?
That's a technique to migrate them along the row.
Yeah, well, because black raspberries, I find, they die easily. I think that they're not particularly native to here, because I come from the Midwest where black raspberries are everywhere. And they really do really well there, but I don't know. Yeah, it's a nice, and it saves you money having to buy new canes all the time too. But the same deal with, you can see these dead ones, you cut them out. And then what I do when they're really long and they're starting to misbehave is to tie them on the trellis so that they stay there rather than
Like, yeah, this we could tie up.
And
And trim,
maybe-
would you trim this back?
I
This-
think I
This is
would,
kind
yeah.
of weaker wood up here. It doesn't seem as strong. So I think we could trim it back, tie it up against the trellis, and then trim it back.
And from a picker's standpoint, it's very dangerous, especially if you're out here barefoot and you have, a sleeveless shirt on or something and shorts.
Yeah, so this
So-
bed will probably fill in
Yeah.
with plants that we find.
Yeah, we usually either put them in there or take them away.
Yeah.
Thank you.
This was originally planted, but it looks like this whole side of the trellis is gone. Like they've
Yep.
died.
Yeah.
Because
There
they
were just a few
usually
dead.
just send up new canes from the crown of the plant underground. But we'll find when we're out here pruning this spring, we'll find new plants to fill in this trellis from tip-rooted canes. Yeah.
That's all I think I wanted to say about black raspberries.
Send up some new people.
Well, I don't know. I'm not. I think it should already have.
Should have done it last year. Yeah. And these
I
are
had them
blueberries right
grow.
here, stuck in here. And these are, Jack loves, what are those called?
Kiwis.
Kiwis,
Hardy
but
kiwi.
we have yet to get one kiwi, so we seem to have, I don't know what our problem
He
is.
ordered a new one for that
Our
a male.
boys, our boys die, I think.
Oh, the boys die? I
think that's
didn't know
what it
that.
is, yeah.
Brent wanted to get one from the grocery store and hang it so Jack could have a kiwi.
Kiwis are nature's M&Ms. Party kiwis.
Oh,
I know,
really?
I've had them before.
I've never had one. I've never seen one.
Sharon Gensler has them.
Like
Sharon
little
Gensler,
grapes.
Sharon and Prue
That's
have really good ones, but
I've heard that. I've never seen this.
we have
big
yet.
stuff.
These aren't the big kiwis.
no, they're this big.
Yeah,
little
they're
ones?
Yeah,
grapes, size of grapes.
But
Wow.
you know, it's always nice to have
And do you
things
peel
to.
them?
Where are they
No,
native
you
to?
just pop them in your
I don't
mouth,
know
you do
about
anything.
about hardy kiwis. I assume around here, but well, let's move over to the blueberry. And careful, there's some blueberries here, so just not to step on them.
And
But
you do have male and female.
well, we did.
I think the male died. I think the male was on this back
I think
row.
he got
You
two.
need a new
I think he got two boys.
Well, Jack
Claire.
ordered one. What?
I think he got. Oh, he did this year. Ordered another boy.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, they're healthy plants.
They're
Oh, yeah.
so vigorous and healthy.
Oh, you
They're
should see our.
incredibly vigorous.
We have some over there on our hay barn that they're pulling it down.
They will.
And do
They
the
will.
males and females take exactly the same nutrients?
Well, I don't know that.
Oh.
I assume so, but I certainly don't work.
just-
I certainly don't work hard to make them different. This is an example of chickens.
That makes sense.
So this is where chickens come up here and they go like this all day long. Right, the anti-mulch. So Claire's gonna do a little bit of a demo here, and you can help her if you want, if she wants you to. And then we're gonna mulch this just to get a little hands on.
So we're gonna thin out some of the older wood on this blueberry. You can see the sort of the newer wood that there's more red growth on here, and it will keep sending up. Like here's an older branch, but it has sent up newer branches here off of this older wood. So we want to make room for these younger branches. And I mean, this still has buds. What? Yeah, so I think I would take this off. And
down here maybe.
yeah, let's see, because I want to leave this,
Yeah.
and but take off this older, weaker wood. And some of this will have fruit buds on it. Like this does have a few fruit buds, but
It's
I don't know, it's-
risk-reward
yes.
equation.
So I mean, each fruit bud does put out a cluster. I think of I don't know 5 or 6 flowers, but I think I would like to get rid of some of this older wood.
Okay.
I mean, for this whole branch to just have the 3
it's
fruit
not- it's not worth
clusters, we don't need to keep
It's
that.
taking up air and
I'd rather encourage these younger shoots.
That doesn't have much on it.
Yeah. So this is something I'll take off, and
So do you want to keep this on?
let's see. I think I'll keep that on. I mean, this is also some of the weaker wood. It has a few buds,
Yeah.
but I think I'd rather encourage, make room for the other growth and take off the older one.
Claire,
Uh-huh.
how far would you cut this one?
I mean, I think, and this is also very low.
Yeah.
It has this nice young growth on it, so we can get rid of the lower
Like,
stuff.
would you cut this all the way down? It doesn't look very.
This whole branch.
promising.
Yeah, I
It's
would
all the way
take.
down.
I'm gonna leave this.
Yeah.
I think I'll trim back some of this on the dead little shoots on this branch, but then we can take.
Yeah.
There's a lot we can still take off here, but like I want to leave this. See
Right,
this nice
right.
new growth.
Right.
So we'll take off right here and trim off these. I don't know. I don't know if it's worth having this whole branch just for this little bit
one
of new
here.
growth. Yeah, we'll take that. I mean, I'm just going to cut it right here for now, and then I can still make decisions about this branch.
what about
I don't know. I don't think we want.
center? This
Yeah.
right here.
I know. See, that has
It's got
some nice
got
growth, but it is right in the middle of
it's
the
right in
plant.
the middle. It's growing towards the middle.
I think we can take this off because, yeah. Oops, sorry, did I get you with that
Watch
branch?
out, Mastriani's got his clippers.
I
Keep
know.
an eye on him.
Let's see.
No, Jack, no.
Like even.
I mean, there's a lot of little stuff here in here that we can take off.
I mean, this has pretty much nothing on the end.
Yeah. I wonder if we could take off that whole.
Yeah.
I mean, take out this whole branch.
Take it all the way down.
We would need a. Is there anything on that? I mean, this is also very low.
No, not much, and it's kind of in the way.
I think we could take this whole branch out.
Yeah.
There he goes.
Going for it.
Ooh.
Oh, look at all those blueberries we just lost.
You'll gain more.
We're gonna have. Yeah, we'll have bigger fruit probably
I know,
too.
I've never been a good pruner.
I like to open
Just
up the
imagine,
center.
imagine larger fruits.
I'll try to.
Can you get that, or we'll make
Yeah.
it?
So are you still operating like you were with the trees to open it like a little bit
Mhm.
to the airflow and the sun?
Yeah, opening it up, taking off dead wood. That's also gonna shade the plant. Like this has a lot of this weaker
Yeah.
growth.
Can I cut that?
Yeah, I would leave this
Yeah,
and
I'll
then
leave
start
that.
cutting. And
I was
we
also-
might decide we do want to take that and
Yeah,
make room
yeah.
for a bigger branch.
I was also
but-
reading that the dead wood actually, it's a drag on the plant too. You know, for it just to hold on to that, it takes a lot of its energy, which I hadn't really thought of it that way. But I guess if you're
What do you think
Like
about
one
taking
bud
this?
on a bunch of dead wood
Right.
that has to like travel through
Right.
and
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
it's,
get out to that one
eventually the
little
fruit is
Yeah.
going to
Yeah.
weigh it down.
this particular bush will give us berries for almost like 6 weeks. It's amazing. It just keeps. Yeah.
Yeah, sometimes it's hard to see what's alive and dead. There's some
I
nice
know.
stuff
Well,
in
because even some of the wood that looks
Yeah.
like it isn't very vigorous does have some fruit
Right.
buds. But like this here does have some of the reddish younger growth. But I don't think it.
Yeah.
I'd rather encourage something that has. That's going to be more vigorous and stronger wood.
Clear your clippers for this. I can't get at.
Oh, I
Just
think we
the
can take
stem.
this. We could take this off down to about here.
Where do you want to take it?
I mean,
Right
or I
down to
don't
that
know.
one?
Yeah.
Where were you using all your cardboard? I know you were asking for some.
Where are we
And
using
there's
it?
maybe
Some of
this.
it's all over
These
the
that are
farm
just
right now.
kind of really low where they're not going to get sun
Good
right
blew
down
away.
on the inside.
Well, yeah. Do you see all those fruit trees over there with the wood chips over them? You see the circles around those fruit trees over in the orchard over there? We've been doing a lot.
And also
over
by
here
getting
in-
rid of some
in
of this
front
older
of those
wood,
carts, that's all
the
cardboard with
blueberries
hay.
do keep
And
sending
then we're
up
gonna put some around these
shoots
blueberries.
from the roots. So I think we'll have more new
And
growth.
also, it also provides some mulch, but
And-
it also attracts earthworms. Yeah,
There's a wicked cross.
it's a great
This one.
free fertility. Sorry.
Yeah.
Does it have a lot of fruit? Oh, it has a lot of buds on top.
This one?
Yeah, it has a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You want to keep that one, I think.
Yeah. I might just take some of these. Take off some of the smaller dead stuff.
on these smaller, what do you plant before they get to soften?
No, I
Because they're not sort of under the same sort of artificial.
you're right. So it's not as much of a scaffold
Yeah.
where the top scaffold might be shading a lower scaffold. But you do want to farm the sun, even with the blueberry bush, as much as possible.
Okay.
And at the same time, you want to maximize photosynthesis, which means more leaves. So you gotta
You don't want to
Play.
take out too much.
play the odds.
Yeah.
Are you ready for us to mulch?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Let's mulch.
All right.
Mulch.
Yeah,
We have a project set up.
Oh, little project. This is a little work project.
Put cardboard on first.
We like to get work out of people whenever they come. So here we go. We're just gonna put
I
these around
know.
here. Tomorrow we'll come out and these will all be pulled off by the chickens, but you guys won't have seen that. So. Leslie knows how to do this.
I do.
We're gonna put all this around the bush. Hop in, everybody. Come help. I'll send you all pictures of blueberries in August.
You want to come over to eat?
You can come over and eat them if you want to, if you're in the neighborhood. Oh yeah, if we have it, we have so much nice.
Oh, I
cardboard
thought
this year.
I've saved so much cardboard for
Oh,
this, but
this is good, Claire. That was
okay.
good. All right, so then we're just.
I
gonna
know.
drop-
This is something I ordered. Here, I'm just gonna open this one up.
Yeah, good stuff. All around.
You know what? Why do you do this?
You like that?
Well,
Doing just that.
yeah, grass and weeds will
Yeah.
grow up
Yeah,
through
we-
the wood chips.
That's why.
We're very lucky.
Even if you do a thick layer,
Our free
like,
wood chips.
you
We
still
have to pay for the
things
trucking, but
do
that's
come
it.
through the wood chips, but also worms love
that,
it under the
that-
cardboard.
that one's
so
out
it
too
helps
far.
in the suppression of
This,
weeds,
this cardboard's out
and
too far.
it really
Here, let me just get rid of it.
attracts worms. Like we had a field across the street that was in cardboard, and one shovelful of soil had, I mean, so many worms we couldn't really count them. So that really helps build the fertility.
Drop that number card.
I know the chickens are going to come scratch this
Well,
all
they're gonna
off
love this. Yeah.
Well, we'll just leave real quick so they don't hang around here.
before they.
Yeah. Keep saying good eggs. Good
Yeah.
eggs.
Nothing good here. So yeah, after we won't do much of this mulching until the chickens are locked up, because they love the hill particularly, but over there
They
by
love
the
what?
house- they love the hill by the house more.
Yeah.
Because it's closer to home. But anyway, that's the idea. Anything that you have that's a perennial, the more you can do this for it, the better it is to help manage it. So should we go up to the grapes, Claire?
Yeah.
Okay, we're gonna go across the street.
Do we have our tools? We can leave
go
the
to the
buckets right
garage,
here
maybe.
and pick them up. Or you want to put them in the garage?
We can take to the garage. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, just don't stack them if you would. They get stuck when you stack them. Okay.
I'll bring these.
Oh, you want to just leave them here?
No, right here. Come here. Pails in the middle, cardboard on the side. Just right there. Great. Thank you. Do you want to just leave these
all the
berries here
stuff
for a
Julie
while and
ordered
we
for
can pick
this
them up
year's
later?
for this year's foliars. It got delivered yesterday.
What's that? Yeah, we do want those. Yeah. Thank you, Jane. You can just leave these here if you want, not have to walk around with them.
People taking them?
Not sure.
Otherwise I'll just stick it in my car.
Yeah, I'll wait and see. Maybe somebody else wants some. Okay. I have black raspberry prickers in my hand.
Do you pause the film or keep filming while we walk?
Jack does. Well, Concord is
Here we
that's a
are.
generic.
crossing the
That's a
street.
generic term.
Oh,
But
okay.
Funny
You know,
though,
they-
because
they-
I can hear Julie's
Make
conversations
them
and
be
your
more
conversations.
intentional
Yeah.
he has
and get more grapes.
yeah, he's got green ones and purple ones and
I was
blue
so
ones.
out of
and-
breath coming up here
but
yesterday.
he can tell you the names because he's always been the grape guy.
I was imagining myself
we
We're trying those for the
up here with a group of
Oh, you
people,
are?
like not being able
wonderful.
to talk about the grapes because
Make
I'm
some
like
wine, or you
trying to catch
just,
my breath.
Oh,
I guess I need to start hiking again.
possibility.
I like to make grape juice. It's just really fantastic stuff. We have it every morning.
I want to get a bike this spring. I've been looking on Craigslist but haven't found anything. But I really want to get a bike. Yeah.
I remember cardboard
Yeah.
down on that field. Was there cardboard
yeah.
about 5-6 years ago?
Yeah, were you here then?
Yeah,
2015. Yeah, we did the whole thing.
I remember that. It looks like it worked out pretty well.
Oh, the year after that was the best. Some of the best crops we ever saw on the farm. Here's our mushroom operation over here. We're having a mushroom workshop on the 10th of April.
That's the mushroom.
I think 3 weeks. Yeah. Yeah. That's Kathleen's going to do that.
Are you
She'll
going
be
to
very
detour at the
entertaining.
mushrooms, Julie, or resist?
What's that?
Are you going to resist a detour of the mushrooms?
Oh, yeah. I'll just tell them to come back in 3 weeks. So here's we didn't ever get to the other side of the field last year. We ran out of time. But this side is where we had the organic matter of 17 after, I think we've done this, what do you think, 3 or 4 times? Before we've come in and cardboarded this and and put down lots of chips. But these are really, as you can see, very beautiful blueberries. And you can see over there, they're pretty scaggy looking. But this, I do feel this deep mulch method is really worth your while. So we're a little ahead of things this year. So I think we're going to make it, get the other side done too.
I know. Are we going to add chips to this?
I think if we have time, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't see any reason
don't
not
think
to.
we did cardboard this. I think last year we just chipped it and maybe a little bit of cardboard. You were here. But we didn't cardboard the whole thing.
Over here, but there's cardboard on that end.
Yeah.
So
let's,
which trellis, Claire?
we're going to start over here. These are some of the older grape trellises. I think this one is 3 or 4 years old on the right. Do you remember?
I think 3 or 4 is about right. Yeah.
So the grapes, we also are going to mulch all of these with cardboard and then a layer of chips. This is something, we don't use these very often, but it's just a spacer, like for the blueberries. If you have branches that you want to keep, but they're sort of going the same direction when they're young, you could train them with something like that. I just took that one out. So I came up and looked at these two yesterday. And so you can see we have the main stem, and then we're going to choose a cane coming off of each side of the plant to put up against the wire. This bottom wire is also very low now that we've chipped. I think if you're going to set up a trellis, you would want this to be 2.5 feet or so off the ground, because you don't want your fruit low to the ground. I think you're more likely to get fungal problems on the fruit. But ideally, this would be a little bit higher. But now that we've been chipping in here,
I think we can do another one up here.
Yeah, we could.
Well, that's a short one there, but.
So, yeah, this is the first year cane. These are all first year canes in here. I think this is last year's cane right here, but I'm not going to cut it yet. So the first thing you want to do is to choose the canes you want to keep for this year's fruit. So if you have this cane, we did already trim this back when we were mulching, because these canes were sort of really leaning down onto the ground. But you're going to choose the canes you want to keep for this year's growth, and then we'll tie it up against the trellis and trim it back to like 10 to 15 buds each. And then we'll choose the canes, the spur, like the canes that will cut back to be the spur. What are they called? The next year's. It'll be next year's canes. I can't remember what you call those, but you will take first year growth, and we'll cut it back to 1 or 2 buds, and that'll be first year canes next year. So I don't know if someone wants to cut some pieces of twine and we'll tie this. So I chose this one just because it's a nice strong cane. These other two, there's a lot of really nice canes here, but this one's a little thicker, and these look a little, they're good canes. We have a lot of choices right here, so it's just about choosing. This would also be a really good one. Maybe
I think
we just have to bend.
One of the other things we have to do is to actually fix these posts and get this wire back up, because it's really not doing its job here.
Yeah.
Before we do much on this.
So Leslie, will you tie this one gently? I think we'll keep this other one, and maybe this will be our renewal spur. That's what I was trying to think of.
So did this plant here, did it come down?
Yeah, so
This definitely is.
that looks like it's a new stem. I don't know if this was left from another cane that rooted itself, but this seems like it's a new younger plant.
Yeah.
So I was thinking we could just leave this, and maybe, it has really strong, this is first year growth.
That looks pretty good. Yeah.
It has this really strong first year growth, so I was thinking we could leave this, but maybe I'll just have, I don't know, it's gonna also get really tight in here because we're gonna have this. Will you tie this one up to this trellis? So now we have a first year cane on each from the top. And so here's a first year cane that I was going to train to the bottom wire. Yeah, I don't know. So somebody, a woman who was working with Jack on grapes for a few years has come and she's been helping us prune grapes. And I wanted to ask her about this, if she was leaving this intentionally or if that has just on its own, rooted and started a new grape. I mean, if we want this space for this plant, so I don't know. It doesn't seem like,
Look how much
but it's so strong and healthy.
Yeah.
I know. Extend our trellis.
keep these grapes going here. Yeah.
I mean, we maybe we'll end up just cutting that whole thing out.
Or put it, I think we need to straighten up our trellises and we can maybe bring the wire along higher too.
So we have a first year growth on either side, and then we can have this. We don't need to tie this yet, but we'll have this first year growth, and maybe, I mean, this is a nice one, and this one's already looks like it's too broken. That's not going to be anything worth keeping. So
What kind of grape are they?
I'm not sure. They're all American varieties.
They're,
Jack might
some
have
of them
a map.
are light green and some of them are blue and some of them are purple, and he knows the varieties. You can ask him at lunch.
So we'll keep this as our lower fruit.
Seedless grapes are very, very weak. He tried some seedless grapes with very, very little success. I mean,
I think they're really small.
ended up drying
I don't know what
quart
they
of
do.
them or something.
What they do
So
to-
I would suggest seeded grapes, the Concord varieties that are hardy here.
Oh, let's mark with the orange string the renewal spurs, and then we can cut back.
That's it.
Pretty
renewal,
much everything
renewal
else.
Spurs.
Yeah,
That's it.
couldn't think of that earlier. So
Yeah.
we can choose four pieces of first year growth that we want. We tie.
I was just going to say though, I think before we get too nailed in here, I think we need to put a wire here and put a stake out there
to pull the
straighten that one
tightness.
up and maybe make a taller fence before we tie anything down.
Okay. Well, we can just cut. We can still
Yeah.
prune this.
What do you want me to tie this onto?
Maybe this one right here, and
Just
we'll tie one here.
Anywhere just like that?
Yeah. We'll cut. These are some that we'll cut down.
I have to say that after all these years, I've always first I let Jack do all this, and then I let Claire do all of it. I've never felt like I can do grapes.
Well, Mia, then Mia, I
and
just
then
did it
Mia, I
also.
walked in. Yeah, Mia was a.
She doesn't let us work with her.
She's okay. I'm doing the grapes. She shows up and she does them all, and then she's gone. But
maybe so. We're gonna. Which one?
That's the.
This is the one we're keeping. So
yeah.
maybe this, because these. And yeah, it's also you want to keep canes that are close to the trunk. Like this is a nice cane. This is really nice first year growth, but that's getting further away from the trunk. So, I mean, this is nice here that we have so many strong first year canes all coming off the head of the trunk.
So would you pair that? Would you cut that off?
I think we'll probably be cutting this off, yeah. This right here.
It's like two trunks. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of these have divided. I don't know if we covered up just the base of the trunk so it looks like another trunk coming up.
I think we also need to remember that there's a lot of fertility here, so it's going to be. We probably
So
could.
we have this to cut as a renewal. 1, 2. We need one more renewal spur over here. It'd be nice to find something that's low down.
Right, there aren't any.
I know, there's not really. I mean, we could keep this, because maybe if we raise this would be at a nice height, and we're going to raise this up.
Pull this out or is this lost?
I mean, they also are flexible, so you can sometimes train them to come this way. Maybe we'll keep this one.
You got it? We're at noon right now,
Oh,
so
okay.
I don't know how.
So basically, once you have this marked with what you want to keep and what you want to trim back, the orange are the canes that we're going to trim back to 2 buds. Then you can basically get rid of everything else, cut it out, and eventually we'll come and just tie these, the canes that we're keeping, we'll tie those onto the trellis and trim. This is already trimmed back, but I mean, this was probably very long, so it's trimmed back to 10 or 15 buds.
When will the grapes come in?
Late August, early September.
Yeah, September usually we're
First week in
early
September.
September.
Yeah.
So like this whole branch would go.
Yeah, I think we're getting rid of that.
Yeah.
I mean, this has nice growth, but this is, I think this might be last year's fruiting cane. This is last year's. So that'll come out. And then all of these will come off too. All of these that we don't have flagged, we'll take them off. I mean, it seems like a lot, but you remember the picture that Jack had in his slides, there was a big difference between what you
huge.
see in
Yeah.
the spring and then before and after
Look at this
pruning.
nice one.
Yeah. I mean, that's really nice first year growth. I flagged that one to keep that.
Although
We just would have to trim it back.
They beat it. I don't know.
And I know this,
I would almost take it down to there and leave the other one, right?
I mean, if we want to
that's a nice
keep
one.
this, but
Yeah.
it is going to be crossing what we've kept on that other grape. There's only like a foot and a half or 2 feet there. But this is really nice first year wood.
Keep it.
Decisions.
Yeah.
We planted someplace else or not?
I mean, we could. I think Jack has established new plants from things that have rooted themselves over time. I'm not, but I don't know if right here I mean, I guess unless
He
we
may be
extended the
attached to it.
trellis, we could have one going here. But,
That's all part of this one, right? It just under the.
well, I don't know if this is its own trunk or if this is coming from that plant.
Or is it something that he might have planted there for whatever reason?
Yeah. So, any other questions about grapes? It seems overwhelming when you first look at them, but if you just kind of start to just choose what you want to keep and don't cut anything initially, before you cut, identify, really nice first year canes close to the trunk and closer to the trunk and roots, and mark those.
Two in each direction.
Yeah, you want to have a first year cane on each side go along the top wire and one on each side of the bottom wire, and then a renewal spur for each of those canes.
Right, okay.
I see why this wire is so low. 'Cause this is growing. It's growing
Yeah.
right
Yeah.
through that.
Exactly. I pulled it down.
Yeah.
Yes.
So like on this one, you would take this one out.
Yeah, I think this is last year's fruit wood,
It's like growing right
so
around
this will come out. But I'm not going to cut it yet. I'm just going to wait until I mark the other things I want to keep, but this is definitely something that will come out.
So Claire, was that last year's?
This looks like last year's
Was
fruiting.
that last year's fruiting? Now, what did that look like last spring at this time when you were done pruning?
I think it was just a single cane like this,
Okay, so that
just
was
a smaller, a thinner piece of new
Two for this year and two for next year.
first year wood or first year canes.
So
So I think most of the fruit comes from these first 3 or 4 buds. I think like where it's like as these get really long and weaker, I don't think you're going to have fruit out there. I think you want to keep the fruit closer
you can see it.
to these, these first 3 or 4 buds on the fruiting cane. Is really where you're going to get the fruit.
Most of it.
But you also want to have a lot of vegetation to support that fruit.
okay.
So you want to leave more.
And then the ones that are just leaving 1 or 2, those could be next year's fruiting canes,
Right.
or they'll just be feeding the plant. And
Right.
They may end up being fruit.
Yeah.
It's not like you're choosing 3 years or 2 years.
No, you're just giving yourself to have a lot of nice growth for next year to choose from by leaving these spurs.
We should honor the time.
Okay.
I just so it's noon and we should quit. I just want these are aronia up here, and they're just like a blueberry. You could prune it like anything else. Like get out all the dead stuff, and they have these little dark blueberries which are supposedly like goji berries, really good for you, but it tastes like shit. But I mix them. What I do is I cook them up with a bunch of other berries, and then I process it, and then you don't know that they're in there. But
You can put them in a
Aronia.
spoon.
exactly, yeah.
You're talking about the Aronia?
Aronia, yeah.
Equal parts
They
aronia
aren't
and
that
maple
tasty.
syrup.
No. They're very
They're
no,
very
not, no, they're just,
productive. You could
bitter.
grow it
Very
and
bitter.
harvest
And
once
that's
and
why
have
they're
enough
good for you.
aronia for the rest of your life.
Did you say you had sea berries also?
Oh, we
I
have-
ask you, what is a sea
It's
berry?
dark
you know, I
red. It
don't know if
almost
we've ever-
looks like a
I don't know if
chokecherry.
we've
It's
ever
like
had
a
any
really
berries.
dark,
Jack put all these crazy things up here.
purpley
This
black,
is our boundary
like-
line with our
They
neighbor.
hurt or something.
They're over there somewhere.
They're not
I
soft.
don't tell you a whole lot.
It's kind of a harder berry.
No, they.
Tastes like crap.
Grapes, I can see
Yeah.